Hello, everyone. I am so happy to be with all of you today. It has been such a powerful wave that we are. And the wave that we are, it is the lizard. And this is very, very beautiful because it is teaching us that hurt, it doesn't really matter. We can go back into our own realm. And I went to the land. And when I went into the land, the first thing that the mother begins to show was about freedom. And I am here with this very beautiful abuela. She's a beautiful sister of mine that I love her so much, Sylvia Lemus. And we're going to weave this together. Sylvia, mi hermana, what do you feel about freedom?
Es muy fuerte. Esa palabra,
English.
libertad.
English.
It's really strong word to talk about freedom for women, because for over so many years, women were dictated by the mores of society and culture as to what they were permitted to do. Even though the many cultures were matrilineal, it was within the construct of the patriarchy. And now, in our time and space as women, we're born in a time where we can weave and change the shift toward women finding their internal knowing and acting upon it, not as a man, not as a masculine, but acting upon it with love from the compassion side, the heart side.
Well, yes, it is true. I feel it deep inside of me that every single decision that you make, it is based on emotion. Even the most rational understanding of that decision, it is linked with that emotion. The heart is involved. As we have been saying in this radio and past episodes, about this experiment that this man did, Stephen Hopkins. And the experiment was about what it is that decision, at what time it is that decision. And the decision was always quicker from the heart. And there is a time lapse that it gets into the mind, and the mind thinks, this is my decision, when the heart already made decision for the mind. I was observing about that freedom. What do you, my sister, my brother, will do if you are so completely free from guilt, free from all the situations that it is in you, in fear, free from all these emotions that in some way it drags you down? What is your excuse for not doing what you really want to do? What is it within your own self where that liberation resides? What is it in you that when you drop it, you can truly understand that beautiful, powerful freedom? What do you feel, my sister?
For me, the freedom came when I entered into the reconnecting with my ancestral memory of ceremonies. And in the ceremony, in this case it's a Sundance, going to the tree, I realized how I was not operating my life with that freedom you speak so lovingly about. And to have the stream of tears cleansing my whole soul vibration with the tree of life, knowing that I can make decisions and I can be used as an instrument for this shift. And it's a very, very powerful experience. Surrounded by men who wear skirts, and they too are praying and with that spirit and that sense of freedom to travel in that altered state at another dimension. And you open a portal when you go to nature, whether it's indigenous ceremonies or a retreat of 4 days and 4 nights in the elements or a vision quest. There are many traditions within the indigenous population of the condor and the eagle where we can touch that level of freedom that we used to know, that allowed for a high spiritual vibration. And I pause with taking that deep breath, because once we enter that capacity to choose, we never go back. And in fact, sometimes you don't want to leave those sacred ceremonies, but our job is to go back and integrate those traditions in our modern life. And so for me, the freedom is to celebrate that I live in the border of realities, the border of returning to the indigenous ways of knowing of our antepasados, our ancestors in nature, and taking a stand in the modern life against all of the disharmony we cause from Mother Earth. And it's a challenge because we get busy, but we need to recycle. We need to buy organic food. And so that's a freedom to choose, too, on an individual basis, to love the Mother Earth and to love that freedom to choose our values. And the freedom is really, for me, to do our work by example and to see the little children around us, and they, too, want to touch the drum, and they, too, want to take the little twig and sound the drum, the heartbeat of the mother. So my choice for the freedom is to take back the drum, take back the fire, take back the sacred ceremonies with the tree of life and the moon, and to be in awe and gratitude that we are human beings who can choose love on this planet, and raise our children to follow our footsteps. So if not our children, it's our grandchildren, because they will know that the abuelita did this tradition.
One of the things that it moves me so much is understanding the moment, exactly the moment of that decision, of that choice that we have. It is magical. We have the ability as a human being to choose. And this brings all these responsibilities. This brings all these amazing new possibilities into our lives as a human being when we are able to comprehend that incredible moment of the choice. One of the things to do this, it is realizing where the heart is. The mind can say whatever you want, but the heart, it has the own way, because you're going to be ended doing what the heart needs to be doing. A lot of these situations about that freedom is that people is very afraid of that freedom. People is very afraid of being responsible for your own freedom. So the patterns are being repeated and repeated. Some of these patterns is genetically. You're going to repeat the same situations or the same pattern that you were seeing when you were little. Some of them, you even have this genetically, and you're going to repeat the pattern and the same lessons over and over again until you begin to realize, what is that lesson that I need to learn? Why do I need to repeat the same thing? I think it is a moment that human beings feels that repeating the same situation, even if it is uncomfortable, but it makes them the sensation of identity, the sensation of security, in that comfortable place that it is just about repeat the same thing over and over again, and not understanding the liberation of that emotional body that wants to feel secure. A lot of the things to question too about freedom. How much of your freedom you have exchanged for the illusion of security? Right now, we're living in such a powerful times that it is very important to realize what it is, that security, that false security that the system, that even the family provides in order for you to drop your freedom and just exchange it for that security. When I feel this in my heart and I connect with this force within myself, the one that created me, and she presented this truth to me, it's my choice. What do you as a human being want? The ancestors were talking about all the way to the 17th dimension, and they did say in our calendar Azteca, and there is much more that it is up to you to decode it. And yet we are just want to bring the people just into the fifth, which is the original vibration of the human being, that world of oneness, when people don't have conflict anymore, battles within themselves, and battles that make them slave of themselves, and embrace that freedom that they are, no matter what it is our culture. What do you feel, my sister?
Well, I appreciate your wisdom and your words, and it causes me to ponder as well. How do I integrate your words in my own life? And for the people who are listening, I encourage you to reflect on the stage of life that you're at. May impact um, your capacity to have the capacity to have free will. And as human beings, that was our first gift, is the willpower, la voluntad in Spanish, which is the capacity to choose. And for me, it's a very powerful gift to know that human beings are like the divine, the creator, gave us the capacity to choose. But the choice is limited based on your age. And the baby can choose to walk based on its maturation. The teenager stage of life, from 13 to 26, you're learning your sexuality and many aspects of that, the capacity to choose those. And in the next stage of life, from 26 to 39, you're building your economy, because that is what that stage of life is about. You're learning a skill, or you're learning a capacity to work with your mind or your heart or your hands to produce and create, because we are here to create and do according to your destiny. Some people are artists. Some people are in the medical profession. They want to be healers or midwives. So that's a capacity to choose too. But that stage of life, you're really focusing on that, because you have the energy to work 12-hour days, what it takes to pay your bills and to feed your family. And then the next stage of life, the capacity to choose, is that you're maturing to be an elder, to be almost 52. And for me, at the age of 72, I have the capacity to choose to take care of my body and to take an effort to keep my weight and watch what I eat. So I have free will and a capacity to choose, but I also have a capacity to know that I have an older body, a machine. And so I need to walk 3 miles a day, even if it takes me an hour and it's rain or shine. But I choose that. And I think it's for us people who are looking at a framework on how to do this, we can go back to those stages of life and the messages of those stages of life. And even after you turn 52, you enter another cycle of 13 by 4s, 4 times to reach 104. And so I'm always reminded of women who, when they get to this older stage in the 90s, they're still traveling and they're still learning, and they're always open to that freedom to continue to be curious and to ask questions. And so to me, as you share those teachings of the heart, I think women can teach their children, even their adult children, to celebrate that stage of life that they're at. And I know that it may seem like a challenge for people to get their skills in the, if they're going to go to a profession. That stage of life is to study hard and to really focus on that effort. And whether it's, and that hard work pays off later when you're trying to pay your bills, and have the grace to be able to, if you have the comfort of, you were given a lot of capacities, then you can make it easier for others who weren't. And so it's always to give, to choose, and to choose to serve others. Is how I look at that freedom that you're talking about. Because we're not individuals anymore. That whole model of individual freedoms at the expense of the masses is not appropriate. That is sort of a value that was put upon us by the people who came here from other countries in Europe. And we have the model of individual is part of a group, the circle. And so the capacity to choose is to choose to be who you are. You may want to be somebody else that you're not. And so find out who you are with your capacity to do your spiritual traditions. And as Abuela Marga says, you have to do this from your heart. Because when your heart is in harmony with your decision, things just flow. And the people around you respect you even more, because then they have the freedom to do things from the heart as well. And I'm thinking of myself, who has a husband of 50 years, and he is able to figure this out, that when I make a decision, he too can have some freedom to do things that come from the heart.
One of the things that I'm feeling about it too, the ancestors, they were not really measuring time. Because that linear time, it really comes from Gregorio. It's a pope. For the ancestors, they were measuring consciousness. They were not into the linear time at all. On the contrary, if you think about this in consciousness all around you, how all has a story and everything vibrates. And that vibration, it is telling the story. Even the trees have a story, the flowers have a story. You have a flower, you have all these stories inside of you. When you think about time, you make landmarks of the emotional body. You might think, okay, this happens to me when I was in this age. You make landmarks instead of understanding that time and space that you make those landmarks. You still can change the perspective at the moment that you change the perspective of yourself. One of the things that I need to say is that Divine Feminine, she has not come in here to change or to destroy any religion or tradition, but to consummate them. And that consummation means going into the very, very beginning. It is an evolution and it is an involution. The things that they tell you that you could not do and make you slave through that programming and colonization, like my sister is saying, is very much infiltrated within yourself. Means the system is in you, a system that it was there to make you slave. Yet there is a part of you that recognizes that freedom. One of the things to understand this in more deeply manner is you know that you are love. You are that powerful understanding of love. I was talking to the Great Mother this morning about this. The Christ says, truth will make you free. And it is very true. But now I am telling you, love will make you free. Why? Because if you are able to conceive yourself as love just before of any relation, the relations are being regulated already by the system. What is the things that is supposed to be or not? But to understand that love, it is this incredible freedom that you feel in all your relations. And the understanding that this beautiful, powerful energy, it is taking you into a higher understanding of yourself. The things that it doesn't matter. The things that it has been in so many levels just stopping you in your own freedom. Understanding the freedom in this powerful wave, it is very, very important for the human being. The ask for the sovereignty of so many influence that you're receiving from the system, that you're receiving from your genetics, that you're receiving from the TV, that you're receiving from past relations. All this has been enslaving you for such a long, long time. Liberation cannot come until it is you the one that realizes that nobody is holding you down. Nobody's enslaving you but yourself.
Mm-hmm.
What do you feel, my sister, about this?
And those are such beautiful words, because I think that as human beings, we need to be reminded, and we need to hear those words, and so that our soul can hear those words. And as you said earlier, some of the issues people have, myself included, may not be our own issues, but issues of previous generations. And they call that epigenetics now, or cellular memory is what I call it. And that whole capacity to know that we are love. And what does love mean? And love is not the sexual love. Love is the relationship of respect for each other. And love is sharing your time with another human being, and inviting somebody to come over and have breakfast with you, and share the meal together, and to share your humanness with another human being, and go with another person to take a walk together, and see and pay attention to the birds you see or the animals you see, and celebrate that. The four-leggeds are there, the winged ones are there, and we mentioned earlier the standing nation, the trees are there, and this whole variety of human experiences, all based on love. And I know the human being has capacity to complete themselves, and the challenge we're talking about today in this program is to complete ourselves standing on the side of love, a love for your own self, in order to have the capacity to vibrate at a different frequency. And there are so many ways to be evolved as a human being, and to meet people. If you vibrate at that frequency of love, you will attract those kind of people in your life. And pretty soon you'll be able to see reality, the perception of our eyes, all of our senses, our ears, our capacity to speak words carefully, all of that will shift, because our senses are, in order to connect with the divine, in order to be in awe of the divine human experience, standing on the side of integrating all of our gifts that we have to be the two-legged, trying to complete ourselves on this beautiful planet Mother, as Magdala says, the great Ma, surrounds us and caresses us and invites us and challenges us with this capacity, like in the sculpture of Koyoshaki, to grab our body with the claws of gravity. So surround yourself with those aspects of life that give you a portal or a doorway into the unconditional love. And for me, that is opening the door with nature.
Yeah, well, I want to finish this session by saying to you, my brother, my sister, think freedom. Connect with freedom. Remember that it is love that it heals, not time. Time doesn't heal anything. It is love what it heals. And it is love what is going to heal those emotions that it has been making you slave, that they are not even there anymore. This is the time for you, my brother, my sister, to hold hands together. We all need to be holding hands together and think freedom. Freedom of all of who you are, that divine being, that daughter of the Great Mother, that son of the Great Mother, this one that it is able to embrace that freedom. We are so thankful for abuela Sylvia Lemus and my beautiful sister that I love so much. She comes also from the Mexica tribe just like me. And yet we do come from the stars. We come from something far beyond any tradition, as the ancestors also teach us. And this is the time for all of us human beings to understand that realization of the self. We're going to be making prayings next week. We are heading to the land to have priestess ceremony. And I remind you to download the app that we have, Messages from the Great Mother. It is available in your phone. It is good that if you can receive a message every day reminding you your unique connection. I'm also asking you to realize that nobody, and I repeat, nobody can connect you with the one that created you. Only you can do this, and it is your choice. I love you, and I am so grateful for your work. I am you. Tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate, tlatzocomate.
Blessings of harmony.